Australian cricket authorities have launched an urgent investigation after the captain of the national team admitted that his side deliberately tampered with the ball during a test match. Let's stay with that story now. We've got Andrew McCormack, a sports reporter in Melbourne for 7 News. He's on the line now for us. Andrew, thank you very much for joining us. We've heard now from the Chief Executive of Cricket Australia just in the last hour or so, but he hasn't announced any action against the team members thus far. Is that a surprise?
Well, yes and no to a certain extent, and thanks for having me on. I can tell you what, that just about everyone to a man here in Australia has woken up absolutely outraged to what they've seen in Cape Town overnight, and we're expecting and in fact baying for blood this morning. Most of the general public wanted something to be done and swift action to be taken by Cricket Australia, but they've given a stay of execution of sorts to Steve Smith, who, with 2 days left of the Test match, will seemingly walk onto the Cape Town pitch tonight. Later tonight, our time, for day 4 of the third Test against South Africa, still as Australian captain. That's despite admitting a plot for what is cheating. There's no bones about it. Ball tampering, it is cheating. It was deliberate. It was premeditated. It was calculated, and it was not just Steve Smith and Cameron Bancroft who was seen on footage pulling out a piece of tape to try and get some adhesive onto the rough side of the ball, which therefore the dirt would stick to that side to get some reverse swing, which the Aussies have been very effective at throughout this Test. It's been one of the major factors in their wins, not only here in South Africa, but also at home during the Ashes. And I think a lot of the Australian public were really baying for blood and calling for Steve Smith's head, and that did not happen, and it won't happen for at least a couple of days yet.
For those people watching internationally, this is relatively out of character for the Australian team. But are there questions inside Australia being asked about the culture of cricket and of the team in that country?
Absolutely. The culture of the Australian cricket team, for this not only to be spoken about in the dressing rooms, that an idea like this would come about between the senior members of the team. The fact that they would actually go about and enact this plan in front of 20, 30 cameras at a game, and then not only that, but get one of the youngest members of the team, Cameron Bancroft, who's only played a handful of tests, his spot in the team is up for speculation to get a younger member of the team who's obviously impressionable, and to commit the act, so to speak, and be caught red-handed. It really does speak towards a culture in the senior players of the team, and not only that, but the coaching staff as well. Steve Smith said that the leadership group was behind this plot or this ploy, which they spoke about over a lunch break and then enacted in the session afterwards. But it'd be very surprising if the coaching group didn't or weren't aware of what was going on out in the field. It's very rare for the coach not to know everything that's going on the field. So this, really does speak volumes about just the toxic culture around the group, and many are calling for a complete clean-out of the senior players and coaching staff around this team, and just to bring in a fresh new captain, a coach, and hierarchy around this team to completely start anew.
All right, Andrew McCormack, a sports reporter in Melbourne for 7 News. Thank you very much for that update on the that story of tampering with the ball by the Australian cricket team. Now, don't forget, you can get in touch with me and some of the team on Twitter. I'm at BBC Regid Ahmed. Well, let's get the weather now with Matt Taylor.